Homie, no cap. Look at my graphs. Look at my charts. You're blowing money on strippers and cars. You're going to prison. I'm on television. Dogs, no one knows who you are. Keep hating me on the internet. Some fans were puzzled by Shapiro participating in the rap song, considering he told indie rapper and podcast host Subi that the genre is not really music. Yeah, he said that multiple times. Doesn't consider it true. But that's part of it, right? Very rare that hip-hop and politics intersect in strange ways, but we do have the rise of the MAGA rappers, and now we have, for the first time ever, Ben Shapiro has the #1 song on iTunes in the hip-hop category. Now, this actually has a lot to do with some other stuff that's going on. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of moving parts in this story. I did want to open with this. What does everyone think is the greatest diss tracks in hip-hop history? Because for me, it's probably going to be Tupac, but I'm guessing other people have other, other favorites. I don't know if you all know the diss track, and usually, most entertainment fields do this, by the way. This is not unique to hip-hop, but usually you make a song where you're ripping into other artists, and then they'll make a rebuttal track. Sometimes those tracks can be absolute fucking bangers, helps push sales for sure, but it also creates beef. And then, like, in that, you get these wonderful little drama playouts. Sometimes they're very cruel, mean, and vicious, and sometimes they get really intense. What are some of the ones? We got Ice Cube, Eazy-E's. Yeah, that's definitely probably going to be the top. I don't know who, by the way, Complex said is #1. Or is this Complex? Oh, sorry, this is Beat Rhymes lists. I don't know who they say is #1. It better be Tupac, all right? Easy. We have Boogie Down Productions, South Bronx. I'm not familiar with this. This was at MC Shan, Marley Marl in 1987. Wow, that's a little before my time. Hit 'Em Up was #3. See, that this was my #1, and this is obviously a Bad Boy Mobb Deep. That's wild. That's #3. Okay, all right. So that's #3. Now I'm excited to see who's #2. Nas, Ether. Yep. Jay-Z, Rockefeller. And #1, here we go. All right, who had No Vaseline? Who had Ice Cube No Vaseline? I did. You may have heard of Megan Thee Stallion releasing the song Hiss. I believe this was on January 5th. This song came out. I cannot play it, but I will do my best Ben Shapiro reading of some of the lyrics for all of you. I ain't gotta clear my name. Oh, it's going a bit fast. Sorry. Every time I get mentioned, one of y'all bitch ass N-words get 24 hours of attention. I'm going to get this off my chest and lay it to rest. Let's go. Hiss. YouTube would strike me if I don't do the Ben Shapiro thing. But I'm sure you can understand how it's going right now. Mad at Megan. Okay, here it is. Okay, we're at the moment now. So this line right here, okay? These hoes don't be mad at Megan. These hoes mad at Megan's Law. Of course, referencing a law on sexual assault. This was interpreted by Nicki Minaj to be a reference to Nicki Minaj's husband. Nicki Minaj's husband, Kid Petty, blah, blah, blah. Where are we here? Oh, yes. And this happened at the same time as a really big track just dropped, #1 on iTunes. And that one this is the big one. Facts. Tom MacDonald featuring Ben Shapiro. They're wearing shirts you can see. Facts. Don't care about your feelings. I don't care if I offend you. Hangover Gang. This is a big song. This is the #1 song on iTunes right now. Yeah. This is the #1 song in the hip hop category of iTunes. And I don't know if playing it will get me a copyright strike. So I figured I'll play it. And in the corner, I can read the lyrics out for you, so you can have the full experience, the musical experience. If you want to know what the beat sounds like, just I'm not ashamed because I'm white. Say that's how bad the whole thing sounds. But let's reverse it. Hold on, and I'm going to read the lyrics out for you. So the first verse is by one Tom MacDonald. Okay. They call me offensive, controversial. There's only 2 genders, boys and girls. They can't cancel my message because I'm the biggest independent rapper in the whole freaking world. Claim that I'm racist? Yeah, all right. I'm not ashamed because I'm white. If every Caucasian's a bigot, I guess every Muslim's a terrorist and every liberal is right. I don't want to talk to folks who don't get it. Go woke, go broke, no hope. It's pathetic. Pro-choice, pronouns, pro-love. You're progressives, but you ain't pro-gun. No one to protect it. Where the American flags at? Remember when people would hang those? They've been taken down. They've all been replaced with Black Lives Matter flags or a rainbow. And then the chorus goes, this ain't rap, this ain't money, cars and clothes. We ain't selling drugs, we ain't gonna overdose. We ain't pushing guns, ain't promoting stripper poles. We won't turn your sons into thugs or your daughters into hoes. And I just want to pause there to let people understand that, again, MAGA rap, and a lot of it, is essentially a modern day minstrel show where they are trying to appropriate black music, black culture, and even use AAVE in some of their lyrics and stuff to then mock people who would then listen to hip hop or perhaps think about what do some of the socioeconomic or some of the messages in this music actually speak to. If you don't know, there's a lot of incredible conscious hip hop that talks a lot about the history of oppression of black people, and it's basically poetry and them telling their stories. Listen to Common, listen to Nas, listen to Black Star, listen to even some of the like more upbeat, happier songs of like Jurassic 5. There's still some conscious hip hop songs in there. Del the Funky Homo Sapien, inhale his entire catalog. It's absolutely incredible. Same with like Charlie Tuna. I love like the kind of more deeper voice artists and MCs. But anyways, there's lots of people in there. Q-Tip. I could just go on forever. There's a lot of incredible hip hop and incredible hip hop artists, and again, it is such a fascinating form of music because it is in essence poetry. And for all the people like the Ben Shapiros who fucking hate hip hop, like the guy has always hated it because he always just associates it with black culture and violence, and this is why the black family is deteriorating. And listen to these new songs; they're all hypersexualizing the very act. They're trying to imply that women can have orgasms or become lubricated in some form, and their pussies become wet. That's absolutely disgusting. How dare their pussies become wet? That doesn't happen. Wet ass pussy, disgusting. Like, yeah, this is a person who has consistently vilified this as a musical genre, and now this is what fascists do. I want everyone to know that this is straight from the fascist playbook. If you are basically going to then mock and belittle your enemies, the people who you consider, like whether it is you targeting Jewish people or targeting LGBTQ plus people, you start to do that, you appropriate elements of their culture, and then you use it to mock them and vilify them, to dehumanize them, right? To make them seem or appear subhuman in the eyes of other people. And that's kind of the purpose of your art. But anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let us now read out Ben Shapiro's first, I think, full... I'm assuming it was written for him, but his chat GPT break into the hip hop scene, okay? Let's look at the stats. I've got the facts. My money like Lizzo. My pockets are fat. Homie, I'm epic. Don't be a wap. Dog, it's a yarmulke. Homie, no cap. Look at my graphs. Look at my charts. You're blowing money on strippers and cars. You're going to prison. I'm on television. Dogs, no one knows who you are. Keep hating me on the internet. My comment sections are woke Karens, and I make raps off compound interest. Y'all live with your parents. Nicki, take some notes. I just did this for fun. All my people download this. Let's get a billboard #1. And then it goes back to the chorus. This ain't rap, this ain't money, cars and clothes. We ain't selling drugs, we ain't gonna overdose. And if you want to just get a sample of a little bit of Ben Shapiro's flow, just for taste, give you a couple seconds before I get copyright struck.
I've got the facts, my money like Lizzo, my pockets are fat. Homie, I'm epic, don't be a wap. Dog, it's a yarmulke, homie, no cap. Look at
Don't be a wap. I fucking hate wap. Fucking hate wap. Don't be a wap. Ben Shapiro. Rapper Nicki Minaj congratulated conservative commentator Ben Shapiro on his featured rap song with Tom MacDonald dubbed Facts, which reached the #1 spot on the US iTunes chart. I just listened to it at Ben Shapiro. Not bad. Minaj wrote on Saturday on a post on X, formerly known as Twitter. Congrats on the #1, but it def sounds like Roman's Revenge when the beat first came in. I don't know. She added referencing one of her songs. Get the #1 song on iTunes. That's not the same as the #1 song on the Billboard charts. And the right have been using gaming the iTunes numbers for a while now. If I were to release a song, even if it was just terrible, like if that's all it was, but then I was like, hey, everyone, who's watching me, I need every single one of you to support it. Let's get this to chart. And then I spent a lot of my own money, and then also had backers who had the money to do this, spent on them starting to download versions of that yes, you can buy downloads on iTunes, you can get your songs to chart. It's not the same as Billboard charts. It is still significant to have the #1 song on iTunes, don't get me wrong. Like, that's certainly a lot of people, and the fact that their video I think has how many is it, 6 or 66? If it's 66, did I close it? Oh no, I did. 6 million. So it's almost got 7 million views. That is big. #1 trending for music right now is this track. It's a mix of stuff going on right now. I want to add, by the way, a lot of those views are also for cringe. Like, this is beautiful, incredible cringe. It is so unbelievably, hilariously cringy, and that's why it appeals to both people who want to hate watch it and people who think that this is somehow like super fucking epic and based, right? Who are just like, yeah, fuck yeah, yeah, I clean up my room, yeah, hell yeah, I do that too, bro, yeah, hell yeah, yeah. I don't live with my parents. I just have to struggle and pay rent, but fuck it, this is so cool. The duo song is an anti-woke song where Shapiro takes shots at multiple artists, including Minaj, with whom he has had a feud before. In June of last year, Shapiro and Minaj had a heated Twitter exchange over the founder of the Daily Wire reacting to a song, Pound Town 2. Some fans were puzzled by Shapiro participating in the rap song, considering he told indie rapper and podcast host Subi that the genre is not really music. Yeah, he said that multiple times. He doesn't consider it to, but that's part of it, right? Again, that's why, circling back, this goes back to mocking people who you vilify constantly, who you want to either oppress or you think are, you know, lesser than, if you want to other them. That's one of the ways. Like, what did Matt Walsh do? He got the number one song. Number one book in LGBTQ plus literature on Amazon for his transphobic book, The Walrus one. I forget something on the Walrus. And then they started advertising that, and Walsh was like, I am the number one LGBTQ plus author on Amazon right now for my transphobic book. And I don't consider it transphobic. I think it teaches a true story about this kid believes he's a walrus, but he's not. And that's what I think trans people are. I think they're walruses. And that mocks the LGBTQ plus community too, by having that being number one in the LGBTQ plus section alongside, I'm sure, other very worthy, like I'm talking about actual LGBTQ plus people who have books either about their lived experiences or stories about the, you know, how you can realize life is even more beautiful than before by simply enjoying or actualizing yourself. Shit like that is now going to be peppered in with this transphobic bile, and so that's one of the reasons why they do this kind of shit on a regular basis, right? Isn't it better to ignore this than make a video on the, you don't care to gain it more attention? Well, no, because this one goes even more deep. So I don't really ever cover Tom MacDonald because of the cringe, because of how ridiculous the whole thing is, and like, obviously, like, it's just, for me, it's unlistenable. Like, all MAGA rap really is. I know some people like doing MAGA rap streams where they just laugh at this and they're like, oh my god, look at this, he's seeing that he's got the Roger Stone flow or shit like that, and yeah, it is unbelievably cringy. I find it just very, very hard to listen to for the most part, so I don't even like going through it all. So I haven't been doing videos on, like, Tom MacDonald just did that video on white privilege, Tom MacDonald just did a video on, like, it took an Eminem track and then now he's dissing Eminem, Tom MacDonald just did a video on wokeness, oh, Tom MacDonald did a video on America, Tom MacDonald did another video on the flag, Tom MacDonald did a video on the American flag and how much he loves it, Tom MacDonald, blah, 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 and I haven't really been covering it for that reason. And this whole time, I didn't know this, I only just found this out. He's from the area I grew up in. He's from British Columbia. He's half British Columbia, half Alberta. He's fucking Canadian. I didn't know he was Canadian. He's a Canadian? And half the songs are about the fucking American pride, American flag, no one can stop me every single day. I was like, wait, what the fuck? But so he was deeply involved in the hip-hop scene in British Columbia, of which Vancouver hip-hop, if you didn't know, it was very sad for a long time, all right? The entire hip-hop scene in Canada, I know most people probably know of some people from Toronto, for example, and they probably think of Drake, right? You'll think of Drake, but I want to give a shout-out to some other people you might not have heard of that you should also check out. Check out Cardinal Offishall. He's fucking awesome. He's a Canadian legend. He's been involved in the Toronto hip-hop scene for a long time, makes a lot of fucking amazing bangers, and yes, I'm not a big Drake fan. He's just too poppy for me, so I'm not big on him. Also, Chaos. If you don't know Chaos is fucking awesome, spelled with a K, then an O-S. He is fucking fantastic. Does a lot of Spanish guitar in hip-hop songs. You probably maybe know his single outside of Canada, Crab in the Bucket, but I don't know if you do. Either way, there's a lot of really, really good, you know, Canadian hip-hop artists that you should give praise to. But for a long time, Vancouver, our hip-hop scene, I'm sorry, it was cringy, it was Canadian, it didn't really have much to it, and everyone was kind of like, I wonder when there's going to be a really breakout, like, big Canadian act, and there finally was one little teeny one, and the name, if you haven't heard of them before, is exactly what you think. They came up with the name for this band while they were drunk at Denny's. So the name of the band is called Swollen Members, and their big first breakout song was Lady Venom. Now, for anyone who, again, didn't grow up in British Columbia or Canada, you probably have never heard this song. I don't know if I can play it. It is actually, it's a bop. It's still a good track. Basically, this is kind of a mix of, like, nerd rap, Dungeons and Dragons stuff, where, like, they reference a lot of, like, you know, fantasy and stuff like that. There were two MCs in this group. One of them is very, very good and still is good to this day. His name is Prevail. Prevail has done so many, like, actual, like, rap battle competitions, freestyle shit, where he, like, the guy actually has bars. He's a legend. He deserves to, like, get all the accolades and stuff. The other dude is called Mad Child. and he's a white guy. And I guess the big appeal with this band was just the two of them have very different sounds and flows, because Prevail will have like a really neat, like, you know, couple of bars, and then it goes to Mad Child, and he's just got this really deep, weird, nasally voice, right? Like, yeah, Mad Child, Battle Axe Warriors, you know, stuff like that. Really silly. I didn't know that all of this was going to overlap, though. There's a reason to any of this. Anyways, I'll give you 2 seconds of this before I get copyright strike.
Combination. Once this passion is
The two of them founded this both, it was like I would say a music studio as well as like a big musical records label called Battle Axe Warriors, which was releasing a whole bunch of different artists under their label out of Vancouver. They were the only ones that really ever blew up kind of big within Canada. I don't think they got outside of Canada, but one of the other artists that they were working with quite a bit was, at the time, lesser known, Tom motherfucking MacDonald. And now Tom MacDonald and that same dude I was just pointing out, Mad Child, are making songs like White Trash.
This is out of the right who fight back on my white trash. The ones the whole world hates, the ones who voted for Trump.
These are both Canadians from Vancouver.
Got labeled racist, but ain't the one with all caps. Make America great.
And they're releasing MAGA rap. They're Canadians releasing MAGA rap and blowing up the American iTunes charts by fooling all these Americans that apparently they're patriots. This motherfucker, all right, is the exact equivalent of a born-again Christian of rap music, okay? You know born-again Christians, the preachy ones, like the preachers who are like, I used to party, I lived a life of sin, all right? I was doing all of these drugs, I was having orgies, pansexual orgies, I was having sex with men, sex with women, sex with people without even, you know, gender. It was unusual and sensual and erotic, and we were all having orgies all day, and it's like, but now I found the light, I've learned the way, and I'm here to tell you that you're living in sin if you have a homosexual lifestyle, and that's why you need to do better. I'm sober now. I no longer use drugs. I no longer drink. I don't have alcohol. And I'd like to tell you that if you do any of these things, again, you're living in sin, and you're a naughty boy, and shame on you. That's the Tom MacDonald story. It's someone who was growing up in a lot of the hip-hop and Alberta hip-hop scene, was trying to work as a wrestler, couldn't really make it as a wrestler, couldn't really make it in like Canadian hip-hop either, was struggling with all of that, but then found his niche in this whole, like, I got sober, and now I'm making MAGA rap. And this has been incredibly lucrative for him, to the point where, yeah, a lot of this, because they are doing independent sales. Like, a lot of these songs, which, like, a lot of them they're bigoted, right? That they release transphobic or, you know, queerphobic, you know, or homophobic songs. And half the songs are about, like, I'm not racist, you're the racist. You know, that's basically, like, a lot of it. But, like, not a lot of studios want to touch that. Not a lot of, like, you know, record labels want to be like, oh, yeah, we fucks with this. And so they've had to release a lot of their music independently. But because now there's an entire network of chuds who love anything as long as it's anti-LGBTQ or anti-woke, then they're buying this shit up, and they're fucking loving these tracks.
Who love their country, vote for Trump, cause they know.
Why didn't you vote for Trump? You both can't. Neither of you can vote for Donald. You're Canadians. On the Billboard 100, he is known for his extensive tattoos and conscious lyrical subject matter, which he often criticizes herd behavior of groupthink. Methinks that you might have edited your own Wikipedia, or at least your fans have. I think that's got to be it, right? Like, come on. He lived in British Columbia and Alberta. He worked as a professional wrestler under the name Allstar. He struggled with alcoholism throughout much of his life, but in 2017 had a bad breakdown and prompted him to begin rehabilitation. And thus, the MAGA rap fucking cycle began, which is like, it's wild. It's wild that you went from this to fucking being huge. I didn't want to completely cringe you out and shit exclusively on Canadian and Vancouver-based hip-hop, lacking as it may be. There were a couple bands, if I could put one little shout out to a band that was actually a group of leftists that made music and conscious hip-hop about working conditions around the world. They named their group Sweatshot Union. They actually were you know, a Vancouver-based group that made some pretty good conscious hip-hop. It wasn't all terrible, so I'll let them have the final song.
Been singing this song for too long, just wishing we all would move on. sick, tired of doing what you want. I'm gonna turn this up.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Can you please hit the like and subscribe button and maybe leave a comment? It really does help the videos out. But first, the people who produce everything you see before you and make this entire channel possible: Amazing Fletch, Anna Loves Riley, Ariane McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Multimondi, Omni, Peanut Butter Blondie, Political Puppy, Quiet 185, Rachel K, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Ruby K, Cernicus, Spinach Monster, Stellar Vision, Sebastian DeMel, Trevbot.exe, Words Greenwood, and Travis McClinton. And also, thank you to every other person who helps fund this show. Their names are on the screen right now. It would not be possible without every single one of them. We cannot thank you enough. And if you want to join the Patreon, please come to patreon.com/theserfs and help us exist.